All right, well, we'll get this thing kicked off. Welcome to season 5, episode 14 of the State Specific Show, where we weave across the country and the world to highlight local sneaker culture specific to those geographic areas. My name is Gabriel Fortson. You can find me across all social platforms at Gabriel Fortson.
What's up, everybody? I'm your co-host, Greg, and you can find me on my feature page at laced_differently.
All right, so our guest tonight represents Atlanta, Georgia. No social media platform can escape our next guest. He has studied and crafted a strategy and approach to social media that not only has allowed him to reach many, but to also gain multiple brand relationships. He has formulated plans to master platforms to maximize the space for content creators and influencers. Events from Atlanta to Los Angeles have tapped him to help host and highlight their shows. You have seen him pit highly coveted sneakers against each other in his infamous daily post sneaker battle, where you would hear his tagline, "A setback is a setup for a comeback." You have also heard his voice used throughout IG stating, "I don't know what's wrong with my feet. Every time I do this and this, I end up in the sneaker store." He is on the content teams for Soul Play Atlanta and the Sneaker Exit, and he is also an ambassador for the Unboxed App, Buy Better Every Day, and Nesquik USA. He is a digital creator, influencer, marketeer, sneakerhead, ambassador, husband, and dad. He goes by at @JWillWalkItTalkIt on IG. Please welcome Jonathan to the show.
Man, thank you, man. Man, you made me feel like I was a superstar, man.
Hey, you are, bro. You are.
I appreciate you, man. That was some nice words you said about me.
No, it's all good, man. All warranted for sure.
For sure, man. So we always like to kick it off just so our guests can get to know you a little bit better. But where did it all begin for you? What's your first memory relating to sneaker style or just the culture in general?
So I think that's a twofold question for me. I want to be transparent. So I have been a lover of shoes since I was a kid, but the wave of collecting and being immersed in sneakers has been since the pandemic. So I'm one of those, I guess, for a lot of sneakerheads, the cringy type, the 2020 person that came into collecting. But my first memory and probably ecstatic love for sneakers was I was a big Jordan fan growing up in the 90s. And the cool thing about Atlanta, Georgia, that a lot of people didn't know is UPN, before that was WGN. So that was out of Chicago. So in Atlanta, if you had cable, you could watch all the Chicago games in the 90s, all the season games, just like you watched the season games for the Hawks. So I grew up a big Michael Jordan fan because I watched all the home games for WGN. But I remember getting the Taxi 12s when I was playing basketball. My dad would not let me wear them to school until after basketball season, and that probably was the most expensive pair of shoes I had gotten as a kid. That was like either fourth or fifth grade. So that was kind of like my first big sneaker moment as a kid, loving sneakers, admiring sneakers, but really jumping into the collecting and just letting people know that I love sneakers outwardly has been since 2020. So it's funny because some people are like, I never thought you would be the sneaker guy now because they never saw that in me before. I've always kind of worn some type of shoe, right? From loafers, sneakers. So I have a love for shoes, but being that sneakerhead guy that people were like, oh, I got a sneakerhead friend, that wasn't till recently.
Okay.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. And there's like you said, there's people that kind of like say, you're a 2020 entry,
Mm-hmm.
but here, man, listen, we're all sneakerheads, man. Like the qualifiers to me, like just drive me nuts. Like, either you is or you ain't. It's
Yep.
it's one of those things, man. It's like everybody wants to like cordon off themselves into this space of like I'm this. Like, no, you bought your sneakers for 180 just like I did. You know what I'm saying? So so I don't even get off into all that stuff, man. It's
Yep.
like if you cool and you collect the sneakers and you for the culture, man, I'm with you. So that's the way it is.
100%.
Yep. It sounds like it started a long time before 2020. It just didn't activate until then, really.
Yeah, I can tell
Yeah.
you all the moments in sneakers, but actually where someone identified that when they said me in the first couple words, that wasn't until 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So in that same vein, the sneaker culture as it evolves, the lines tend to get blurred between being a collector,
Mhm.
reseller, hype beast, novice, or sneakerhead. Like ultimately, which one do you consider yourself to
All,
be?
all of them. All
There
of them.
it is.
I feel like that as a sneakerhead, you are going to go through that phase where you're a newbie. It may have been a long time ago, or you may be coming back in the fold because you put other priorities over, this expensive hobby that we all know and love. And then there's going to be points where you need to step away and you see your shoes as a form of value that can help you get another goal that you have. So you may be selling some pairs so that you can fund a dream or opportunity for something else in your life.
Hmm.
And then a hype beast, we're all hype beasts because we love the shoes that can be rare or that has a lot of buzz behind them. We're all influenced by something or someone. That's why we love all these sneakers and we don't like Skechers. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
there's a hype behind it. There's a push behind it that we all know and love. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are not big Travis Scott fans, but they love his sneakers,
Yep.
and
Hmm.
all he did was put the Nike sign backwards. So there's a hype there, and then when you are collecting hype, it keeps you going down that hype train because as a collector, you want to kind of collect the set. So if you're investing into Travis Scott's, you're like, okay, I at least want to get all the Travis Scott low ones, and that can evolve into, well, I just want his full
Yep.
collection. And now it's looking like you're going after the only hype stuff, but really you're just kind of falling in as a collector to make sure that you finish that kit of
Yeah,
shoes so that you can say, hey, I got all of them.
No doubt. No doubt. Love that answer.
for sure. And uh, we generally ask kind of what drives what. Do the kicks drive the fit for you, or vice versa?
I think it's a mixture. I think kick started and kind of combo with a tee. I'm very simple when it comes to outfits. I've gone through many different fashion though throughout my life. I'm 36 right now, so
Okay.
I've always tried to be a little bit different. Like when I was in college, I was dressing up a lot because everybody was wearing streetwear, so I wanted to be different. Um, and I've just kind of always tried to do something different. That's why when I came into the fold, I really latched on to the Yeezy brand. But still, I start with my shoes first, and then kind of look at the shirt that I recently got or a shirt in my collection, and then build off of it. So sneakers first for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dope. So, you know, kind of knowing the history of sneakers and how they've impacted the culture and everything, there has to be some shoes that you like, hey, I gotta have that one. So like what's been your most interesting cop or, interesting or like the biggest sneaker chase that you've had? Like that sneaker that you just had to get and like took you over the river and through the woods, like you got a shoe like that?
I mean, for me, coming in at 2020, there was different Yeezys, knowing that I wanted to collect those, that I really wanted to get. So like a couple, 750s that I wanted to get in my collection that it took me finding a good used pair through a trade show or just checking every day new listings on eBay, and trying to snipe those, of like the fine, but shoes that, um, to dive into that, like I'm a eBay used guy when I've been building my collection. So if there's a shoe that I want, I'm usually every day checking once a day
Mm,
on eBay, new listings, go check my size, and I kind of do that every day, constantly, because I was able to snipe a couple good pairs of shoes because it just got listed quick, and someone may not have had as much value in the shoe as I
Hmm.
saw in it.
right,
Yeah.
no doubt.
And like you said, being on top of those on a daily basis, sometimes you can jump ahead and be like, hey, I'll like offer a little bit less and you can get an even better deal on them. So yeah, watching eBay is the key
Yeah,
to getting some steals.
I remember what my first 750. He listed it, and he had offer where you could offer on
Yep.
eBay. So I offer it was already a good price. It was under 300, which was
Wow.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So he offered, but I tried to lowball. I was like, since it's used and it was kind of dirty, you tell a person we're in the club a lot as a stunt shoe. So I offered 200, and I sat on it for like an hour. I was like, nah, let me just cop this because anytime I've seen it for a higher price, it's been a lot more.
Mhm.
They did have a box, so that was able to
Okay.
get to that low. But man, I snagged those. Then I authenticated about 3 times. I did unbox. I did check. And eBay had the authentic authenticity certification. So I did
Yeah.
all three, and it passed all three. So I was really ecstatic,
Yeah.
and it's been one of my biggest steals. And then I just had to get them cleaned up. So my boy CJ Sneakers Lab, he cleaned them up. He does real good with used shoes to disinfect them, and he brought them back to life, and they look amazing.
So,
Nice.
so
Nice. Nice. And what brands and silhouettes does your collection consist of now?
Most of my collection is Adidas Yeezys. I probably got a good 70% of my shoes that. But
Okay.
I have variety. I have New Balance, a couple Reeboks, Clarks, um, Saucony, Crocs, a couple Jordans, and Nikes.
Okay. Nice.
and with that, do you have like a personal like bucket list of sneakers that you like really, really gotta have and that you're kind of, have high on your list of things to get at some point?
Only a couple. Because I'm kind of a person. There's so many shoes that come out, and coming in at 2020, I'm like, if I miss it, there's gonna be another shoe.
Mhm.
So if I can get it on the used market a year from now, that's kind of gauge it. Like if I miss it and I really want it, I'll try within that year to 2 years of it coming out. Try to get a used pair on eBay, and then usually if I get the used pair, sometimes it can be around the same price or lower than what it originally came out at. But right now, if I'm looking for like grail sneakers that I want in my collection, is mainly anything that's a collaboration with comic books. That's one of my loves as well as a kid and as an adult. I have a pretty, I mean, my comic book collection. If you see behind me, if you just checked on some of them, they're worth more than my sneaker collection.
Wow.
Like the Kith collaboration this year. I'm sad that I didn't get those.
Yeah.
Um, so those are ones that I'm gonna say if I can find a way to get them for a good price, those are ones I got more on my bucket list, more so than anything else.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. And do you have any sneaker horror stories of scuffing, ruining, or losing any pairs?
No, since I've came in the fold, I haven't really had. I got so many that you just kind of switch them out and
Yep.
nothing. Okay, I got one. I got one. This is not a recent, but this is why I'm not the biggest fan of air shoes. So as a kid, I've maybe get one or two shoes for the school year, and I got a pair of Air Max. Where I just got them again the Sunders, and I loved them. I wore them till the front flap started coming off. But I had got two pair. One of my pairs early on got a hole in the air unit. So then when I was stepping with hiss, and being in elementary school, you love the shoe, you can't get another shoe. And the Air Max model in general usually was not a cheap model.
Hmm.
So still to this day, I kind of really don't want to dive into Air Max shoes or shoes with air bubbles just because I feel like they're going to pop before a shoe crumbles in my eyes just from that experience as a kid kind of
Yeah.
scarred me. So I don't have as many air bubble type shoes in my collection because of that.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Tinker. We got to get on Tinker, man. I'm not sure if he had anything to do with that specific shoe, but walking around and having your your air bubble hissing through the halls, man. That's
Yeah, man. Yeah, so it's that. And then I guess I don't wear a lot of white just in general, shoes, clothes. I kind of stay away from it.
Yeah.
So I don't really buy that many white pairs of shoes, just because I feel like I'm gonna get them dirty. So if you looked at my collection, there's really not that many white, of any white pair of shoes.
I could definitely relate to that. I just cleared out all my white soles and anything like that. I'm tired of keeping up with it. So I get that, man.
Yeah, it's a phobia of mine. I don't know. I'm just, I feel like I get something on it immediately when I put something white on. So it's just
Yep.
like I don't even deal with it. I don't wear white shirts.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Oh, confusing.
So this question is a little bit long, so just kind of bear with me for a second. So
Okay,
social
okay.
media, the social platforms have gone through some noticeable shifts in the last year or so, from IG trying to be other platforms, Twitter being sold to X, and X being this open and uncontrolled contact point, to Facebook being Facebook and TikTok being TikTok, and new platforms like Spill trying to carve a space out. What are your thoughts about some of these changes, and where do you think the end user fits into current social media?
Ooh. Um, that's a big question, Gabe. Being on so many platforms, seeing the differences and nuances. Um, I like expressing myself through content, but sometimes I'm worried about how these platforms are going with the overselling of products,
Yep.
um, as well as the algorithm putting you in this box to make you feel that it should be this way or that way. Like it will appease you because it wants you to stay on. So it could be could be a lot. But for the end user, um, keyword user,
Mm,
um,
Gina.
it's a form of enjoyment, but an addiction that's going to bring you back to it constantly by trying to sell you or appease to something that is something that you're interested in. It could be something just funny or keeping up the Joneses or clothing, fashion. I mean, the sneaker culture. I mean, we can't even take a breath without get an announcement for 2027 sneaker
Right.
release because they don't want you to not think about a shoe. It's like I just bought one. Now we talking about something else that we about to drop in 12, 18
Right.
months. So
Yep.
Right.
um it's marketing 24/7 as an end user. You're being marketed on everything. As a content creator, sometimes, I love social media, but I can see that it's all content. Like
Hmm.
it's like how everybody fell in love with reality TV and then realized it was scripted. It's like loving wrestling, wrestling, WWE, and arguing with your friends. No, it ain't fake. And then you realize, yeah, it's fake. It's all scripted. Like they know how it's
Yeah.
gonna end. So, um, that's that's kind of how I feel like for the end users always being sold to. It's literally uh, a commercial every video in my viewpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they pretty much have us on a yo-yo. I mean, for the most part, right? I mean, they make us upset when they make these little changes to the algorithm and all this other kind of stuff, and then we moan about it and complain and talk to each other on our little
Yeah.
chats or whatever, and then next thing you know, we put something else out there, and we doing what we've always been doing, just because I guess, for lack of a better word, we've become addicted to it. I think
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
mentioned that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got us right, but at the same time, and I think we get into this a little bit later. Like, all of these different platforms have all like a slightly different angle,
Hmm.
and but we'll touch on some of that stuff a little bit later.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So this is the part where we're gonna kind of transition to more Atlanta-based and your personal
Hmm.
experience-based questions. But we want you to choose three sneakers. If you have them in your collection, feel free to show them. If not, just let us know what they are that you think that best represent Atlanta.
So I'm gonna start with the first one. I don't have it in my collection, but I've had it either three to like five or six times in my lifetime, and that's the white on white forces. I know
Yeah.
Atlanta may not be able to claim it that we're the one that started that trend, But you can't go wrong with that in Atlanta. White on white
Yep.
forces. Um, I remember I was in middle school. I was wearing some Nikes, and a dude came up to me. I think it was in sixth grade. He came up to me. He was like, "Hey, I mean, you lame unless you got a pair of white forces or black forces." You know what I'm saying? That's like back to school. You always made sure you had a pair. So again, I've had probably 5 or 6 pair in my lifetime. So
No doubt.
number two, as a kid growing up, always seeing, and I think Jeezy said it in the song, and we recently had the collaboration with all the Atlanta boutiques, but that's the Air Max 95. So
No doubt.
I got that one right here. Soul Play actually was a
Yeah.
part of this shoe, so it was the Atlanta shoe for this year, and I think this speaks of Atlanta culture, a time period in the '90s, as well as continuously people still wear it in Atlanta. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and I'm excited for the Amas, so I
I
definitely
know.
want to add the Amas to my collection. And then this one is gonna be cringy. People gonna hate me for it, but when a lot of people come out of town to Atlanta, they're overwhelmed with it, and that's Crocs. And if you just notice from like maybe not my generation, but the kids, everybody is rocking Crocs.
Hmm.
And again, I didn't know how crazy it was until people like my sister's from Tennessee, or I have other people come down from up north, and like, why is everybody wearing Crocs around here? And I guess since we're in the South, we can make it fashionable, but also it's just kind of multi-purpose shoe. So we can put it on and still be somewhat stylish, but still be like, oh, I'm just running errands. Like, I'm not getting a full fit together, but I'm still cool while I'm doing it. So I know the sneaker community is probably gonna be like, I don't know about that, but if you come to Atlanta, I mean, you're gonna see a lot of Crocs. Like,
Absolutely.
and again, it may not be somebody wearing it because it's their premier fashion at that moment, but they're wearing it because I'm low key dressed down, but I'm fashionable.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. My youngest daughter lost one of her Crocs, I think a couple days ago, and then she just peeled off another pair. Right? It was like,
Yeah,
hey, I got a replacement like immediately.
yeah.
And
It was
you're right.
crazy because I remember when it first came out, uh, and everybody was like, "Nah, we ain't gonna touch those." Like,
Hmm.
and to see that kind of the wave take
Stories
over, where
changed.
even some of the biggest sneakerheads, they may not be wearing them, but they got a pair for cutting the grass or just moving around getting the mail. I mean, somewhat you at some point drink the Kool Aid. So
Yep.
She just got some Scooby Doo Crocs.
yeah, hey man, hey, and then Salehi. I mean, you see the Salehi Crocs a lot more because he kind of blended the fashion where a lot of people are wearing the Salehi, so you'll see them around town constantly, and those. I wear those, when I'm picking up my kids, going to the grocery store. That's my every kind of just like not trying to put nothing on. Let me get out the house, run this errand real quick.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like with the Crocs,
Hmm.
so when we're rolling around Atlanta, kind of moving around, like what style do you see? Like, we got the Crocs, and obviously we got the different sneakers that are happening here. But is there a specific style with like apparel and fits and stuff like that that you're seeing, or is it kind of just kind of all melded together?
I can't speak on that the best way, just because I think that age demographic will rock it in style more than I would. I've rocked in style with the Salehis, but again, you're talking about someone probably the age of 12 to 26.
Hmm.
They'll put nasty style mixed with it. And then my son, he's collecting more Crocs than anything. He's had about 6, 7. I mean, like he loves that he can express himself with giblets,
Hmm.
put his name in it, personalize it. So it's like a own custom shoe for him. So I mean, we'll get him some Crocs constantly, and that kind of started him even liking shoes even more, because he would get compliments from his Crocs. So now he's becoming more of a sneakerhead, Just got him some LeBrons the other day. We went to the Nike store for back to school, and I was trying to get him some running shoes that he really likes. He said, "Dad, I want these." I was like, "You want the LeBrons?" He's like, "Yeah." And he really likes them. He takes a sense of pride. He got a couple compliments, and that's the thing. I think that's why most sneakerheads become sneakerheads, because it's a lane that they can dive in, and they love that first compliment that just sells you on, like, yeah, I'm gonna buy another pair of shoes. Like, that felt good to walk around and someone said, "Hey man, I really like your shoes,"
Yep.
and you're like, "Oh snap!" It instantly makes you feel noticed in a fashion world. So that's why when you asked earlier, kind of how do I start, is with sneakers. And even when I wasn't collecting sneakers, it'd be loafers, it'd be Kohans, it'd be all different type of footwear that I kind of started my outfit with.
Dope. Dope.
For sure. And in Atlanta, does the sneaker community feel close knit to you, or does it feel like a lot of subcultures?
Um, because I love going to all aspects of Atlanta, and I grew up in all viewpoints. Like, I grew up in Smyrna, Georgia, so some people may not even consider me Atlanta, but what I can say is the Brave Stadium is where I grew up. So, but the aspect of it, I think, being 36 and remembering when the South had something to say, and knowing that you only saw all these other cultures, and then to realize we took the belt and we've been holding the belt up high. I mean, I feel like we we have one culture. Yes, we
Mm-hmm.
have brands that compete, stores that compete, but that's just competition. I think with this shoe show between us, I mean, what's another city that had multiple stores collab on one sneaker? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Hats off to the Nike brand, Malachi, other people that were influential, Soul Play, Alma, Wish, for them to say, hey, it's not about just me having a shoe, but yeah, I would like to partner. And I think that speaks big to, we're going to compete in Atlanta, but also we're going to support and push up, because that's how we came to be so big in the rap industry, was that we were collaborating while New York or other um, cities were competing, and we collaborated and we had friendly competition. But we knew at the end of the day, if one of us win, we all win, because
Mm-hmm.
we are a market share that was trying to grow and keep growing.
No doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt.
for sure.
Yeah.
And it's that mutual respect that I think Atlanta carries throughout the whole like city.
Yeah,
You see, like you said, you see all these companies winning, but that's what it takes in
yeah,
order to keep everybody on their game and keep everybody together. And I think with COVID, it's proven that there's room for all of us in this game.
yeah,
So same thing goes to these brands too.
yeah. I mean, there's enough for everybody to eat.
Yep.
Sometimes we want to compete like there's not enough, but I'm a type of person, like, even you said in the bio, like how I collaborate and go and do a lot of things, because I feel like, God's gonna bless me with what's for me. So I can compete, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna get what's for me because God gave it to me. I can't take nothing off your plate, because what's put on my plate is for me, not for me taking it from you. So,
Mm-hmm.
and the positions and the opportunities I've got have just been blessings, and I can't control that. All I can do is put in work and be the best person I could be. And then the things that come from that is just a true blessing from God. And, I just got to say thank you on that.
Absolutely. Amen. Amen. Yeah, and front page Aaron, appreciate you, man. He's out there in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and for folks to be able to kind of see what we got popping off here in the city, like it means a lot. And I've heard it from several different people in regards to when we're out and about, kind of popping up at all these events and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They're like, man, I wish we had stuff like that going on in our city, and it really it speaks volumes to have folks from other major cities and even cities that are a little bit bigger than Atlanta say that we have things that are happening that they don't have.
Yeah. I mean, it really speaks to, just starting with the boutiques. You got Alma, you have Wish, you have Soul Play, you have Kick Theory. Then we have a lot of resale shops that add into the culture. We have homegrown convention, sneaker exit, some other ones. We got Atlanta Streetwear Market. We have a lot of places that, as a small business owner, you can collaborate with another small business over, create a wave so everybody can eat. And that's what it's about. I mean, from all the boutiques having events, we know Mo and we know other places, and they're like, man, y'all got something going on for sneakers every week. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
blessing that our boutiques and our small businesses see the benefit of sneakers and culture and fashion and music and say, hey, let's have a safe place for people to come that love shoes to get a good vibe, have fun in retail therapy and purchase something that makes them feel good. Talk with some people. They always usually bring in some type of adult beverage to, ease and provide a comfortable environment. So my hat goes off to the city. It goes off to the CEOs of each one of these boutiques and small businesses that see it's about the culture, it's about the environment, because that's what sneakers is about. It's about that moment when somebody saw your shoes, gave you the head nod or the compliment. So if they keep creating these environments, you're just gonna see where so many people like myself and big, small creators keep popping up because there's always something going on.
Yep.
Always, always. Yeah, I know when I met KO several years ago, that's one of the first things he said to me is that, hey, listen, I'm trying to create this dynamic to where you have the friendly competition, but everybody knows that you got to work together in order to make it work. And, that's what he was doing behind the scenes is just talking to these different CEOs, talking to these different business owners and the other influential people in the city to say, hey, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
you the big one on the block, but you got to work with these other folks in order to make it work for everybody.
Mhm.
So he worked pretty hard to make that stuff happen. So
And to add
awesome.
in on him on that in the aspect of the respect thing is he made sure that although we're a big melting pot and a lot of people come to Atlanta and a lot of people make money because they came to Atlanta and saw the opportunity here on this soul, he also uses his power to make sure that those Atlanta homegrown um, business owners and opportunities are still getting represented and not being overlooked from someone else who may have more buzz that come to the city and able to shine even brighter. So his authentic in making sure that we still have a representation of people that are homegrown in Atlanta is big. And I think that to stand on that and when he talks to businesses to make sure that he's saying that, that's a hard thing for some people to stand for because a lot of people just want the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
but him being an upstanding guy and fighting for the culture of the city in fashion, music, and sneakers, that's big. And I've had a chance to meet him several times, and he's definitely a great dude and has created a culture um, that outside of just the visual when you go around, like the group that they built on Facebook and the relationships that I've grown from ATATF. Man, I my hat goes off to him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I call him the glue. He's the glue for the city, for the culture. Yeah.
Uh, in what local sneaker shows, conventions, or meetups do you have in Atlanta? I know we just named a few of the shops.
Hmm. So I love all the shops. I've tried it. I've gone to all our boutiques. So, we have Wish, which probably was the first one I ever had a memory going. I was in college, and some people were going for a joint release, and we drove all the way. And being from Atlanta, the heartbeat of the art. Little Five Points is like you knew when you were in Little Five Parts, you were in the artsy area. Soul Play. I've been great to be a part of that team and understanding as they are constantly growing and evolving and creating a lane for themselves. And they create great atmosphere. They have the gaming and knowing that streaming and sneakers are going hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You got the foam posit tech and shoes coming out, so they're creating a major wave. You also have Alma, Social Status. You have Kick Theory in Lawrenceville. I've been able to put in raffles for all these locations, being able to meet many people that work those boutiques, allow for them to reach out to me and let me know when shoes are in, when different like Honor the Gift and other fashion brands are in. So I would tell anybody, like, again, it's easy to cop online, but go into a store. Those stores definitely will look out and let you know when shock drops are released. And I think a lot of people, if they see it sold out online, they think it's sold out. No, if you go into these boutique stores, usually you can still find you a pair or build a relationship with someone that can let you know, hey, we just had these drop. Possibly could hold, if they see that you purchase a lot, possibly could hold a pair if you call up. Another store, LVRG Leverage over here in Lawrenceville. Another store. All these stores I've gotten W's from. They all have created a great atmosphere from the camp out viewpoint of lines. All have done great raffles. Also, all have had some type of social media raffles. So when you're going for that hype shoe like a Travis Scott, which I still have never gotten a W on, you got to go to all of them to try to get the opportunity. So,
Yep.
and then we have a lot of different resale shops. I know a lot of people like to talk negatively about the resale market or the resellers, but at the end of the day, resellers help you get a shoe that maybe you still couldn't have got even if they weren't there. So they provide a ease sometimes where coming in you can just get the shoe and pay a higher price. So there's a lot of stores that again, these people are sneakerheads, that's the benefit, and that's why I don't hate resellers or come from a negative viewpoint, because as a business and as a collector, especially being someone who collects comic books, the ability for someone who loves sneakers to realize that they can make money on what they love and do it, why would we not allow that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can understand where some people say, again, they come in to capitalize on sneakers and they don't care about sneakers. But that's just business. You're going to see people running to make a bag in any type of industry. But
Yep.
there are plenty of sneakerheads that resell shoes that add into the culture, that are in the culture currently that we never look or bat an eye at, but we complain about resellers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The number one rule of business is to maximize your profits.
Yep.
True, true. And if you're willing to pay that much for a shoe, I don't have any Travis Scotts because I'm not willing to. If I miss out, I'm not willing to pay that
Yeah.
much of a markup for a shoe. It's not that important to me.
Mhm.
Yep. And like you said with the boutique shops, it's kind of that the resellers are that necessary evil. It is like, but at the same time, you get to know them and they'll look out for you the same way.
Hmm.
That they know they're getting your size, they're going to reach out to, and yeah, you build that relationship, and they're
Yeah,
needed. A
yeah,
lot of us are taking L's on draws. You could be entering 20, 30 draws for a Travis Scott, for example, and never see a pair,
yeah.
like you said. So, yep.
But I can say, for folks that go into the boutiques and, and some of the other stores too, some of the box stores, if you're building a relationship, also know that those folks that work in there, their livelihoods are based upon your support.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
they have items that could have been sitting there for 3 weeks, a month, or whatever. You don't always have to spend $100 and buy, $100 t-shirt
Yeah,
or $200 t-shirt. Buy a pair of socks.
yeah,
Buy some sneaker cleaner. Buy shoestrings. Buy, something that you can go home and still, functionally use. But at the same time, I know every time you step into a store, you can't just spend a whole bunch of money, but they are more willing to help and support you as a consumer if they know that you're coming in. It's also try to help them meet their goals. So, when you're in there, like look through the sales rack, pick something up, put
Yep.
something up, and go buy it. And at that point, they know that you're actually coming in not just to pick up that sneaker and get information and intel about when the next drop is going to happen, but you're also supporting what their cause is, because when they open the door every day they have a goal of making sales,
Yeah.
and whatever that dollar amount is, if they sold one more unit just because you walked into the store, then they'll definitely they'll
Yeah.
appreciate it and they'll notice it.
Yeah. And all of them, from my experience, have hired amazing employees, amazing sales fashionistas, as I would like to call it, that make it personable. They remember you. They say hello. They try to see what your style. They give you advice. They're there to talk to. So all of them have created great environments that I've enjoyed going to, and I can be kind of a nerd with that, where I'll just go and relax for 30 minutes on the way home, just take a breather after work and just be in shoes. And a lot of them have that, and you just sit down and chop it. You get to talk about it. Like,
Yep.
I really feel like the sneaker community and the comic book community are like on the same spectrum, just two different atmospheres. Because that's the same way with a comic book store. Like, people are just coming in there every Wednesday to get their comic books, and you get to meet people. That's why I love conventions so much. Like, I got to see my reach as a content creator by going to a convention and someone pulling me aside and said, "Keep going. Like, I love your content." So I
Yeah.
really in love the sneakers that also I can love sneakers with other people. It makes me feel great when I get a text from a homeboy of mine like, "Hey, I just got these," or "What you think about these?" Or "Can you help me with some insight?" Like, that means the world, because like now when you think sneakers, you're thinking me. So when I think sneakers, I'm thinking you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it makes you feel even more in a hobby, like, okay, there's someone that gets me. Because if you tell somebody, "Hey, I got 50 pair of shoes, 100 pair of shoes," everybody's gonna look at you like, "Oh, you don't make great decisions." But
Right.
in life, we all buy what we like. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? If it's a luxury car, I mean, you don't need that. If it's a big house, you don't need that. Everything is an aspect of something that I've worked hard in this life to enjoy, um, that speaks of my accomplishments. So,
Yep.
it's always great when you can talk to somebody and say, "Yeah, did you get the $300 shoe?" "Yeah, I got it." Because you go talk to the right, "Huh? How much for a
Right.
shoe? 300?
Right. 300?
That's
You out of your
a
mind.
what?"
Yep. But then on the other side, when they find out you can sell it for 900, turn around, or 600, or
Yeah,
wear it for 3 years and sell it for 250 still,
yeah,
like there's that market of it, and that's always the rebuttalment for me is like, I get it, yeah, I have a lot of sneakers behind me, but I know where my money went.
yeah,
The same people talking to you, it's like, "Oh, where'd you spend your money?" "Oh, I don't
yeah,
know." You know what I mean? They don't
Right.
got it either, so
Right.
at least I know where mine's going towards.
yeah. It's I have been telling people a lot of times, if anybody's seen like the little meme of Alonzo Mourning when he was on Miami older, where he's like, and he thinks about it, he's like, I mean, a lot of times you just think about it, okay, everybody's got their own thing that they spend their money
Yep.
on. It could
Yep.
be going out to eat with
Yep.
family, it could be
Cigars. Could be.
vacations, it could
Yeah.
be, but we're all in this world, living, working, providing. You want to put in something that you provide some enjoyment. And that's
For
what
sure.
gets more than just the actual shoe, is going to the environments about the shoes so I can still enjoy it even more than just it being inclusive to me. It's no, I get to share it and shout about it to others. Like, Gabe, no, I see him at an event and I'm like, "Gabe, I ain't get the text, bro." Like, I would have been out there. Sometimes he'd be there. He'd be like, "Dang, I thought you was gonna be here. Like, where you at?" So that accountability of someone thinking you're gonna be feels good, because it feels like you're being seen. And as a
Yeah.
human being, all of us want to be seen.
Yep.
No doubt. No doubt. So, do you think having a presence on multiple social platforms is needed today? And just kind of tell us why or why not. Like, some people are just on IG, some people are just on TikTok, but being across multiple platforms, what's your thoughts about that?
I would tell anybody, if the, if they're trying to somewhat, as an influencer, turn it into a business, I would say it, it gives you a head start if you get on all of them. It may be a challenge at first, but allows you, I think with people making content for the past 3 years, and you look at all these different pages from people who have blown up to people at different levels, you don't get to see the story. So I'm being on multiple platforms. I see someone who's huge on YouTube, but may not be huge on IG, and vice versa. And I think that happens because, again, you can't control the algorithm, but again, you can't just get all of your supporters to go to a different platform because they may not rock with that platform.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a time thing that is just over time you get the following. So if you're on all of them, even if you focus on one as your main, but if you're on all of them, you get to slowly build up your all the platforms, because again, tomorrow one can be bought by another one can be eliminated.
Yep.
And if you're looking as not just a self-expression, but an avenue to be an influence where you can reap some financial benefit, knowing that we don't own the platforms, it would be great to be on all of them so you don't feel like you're starting over on one if you haven't, if you put all your eggs into another one.
So,
Yep.
dope.
So, um, brand deals are not easy to come by
Hmm.
on social media. How do you feel that social media helps people obtain those? And then, what tips would you give somebody seeking a brand deal?
Okay. Brand deals gives that visual. So social media is a resume from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
I can make the same content and nothing change and have 50K followers or have 1,000 followers and get a different response, even though I made the same content. So
Yep.
the follower count from a brand is probably the first eye catcher because it's the easy sell in a resume. Being from Atlanta, like if I work in tech as a human resource generalist. If I ask anybody that works at my company and they saw Georgia Tech on the resume, they say let's interview 'em. They don't know anything about them, but that they went to tech. So that number follower count kind of can be that initial thing to give you that avenue. So that's kind of the benefit to social media for getting brand deals, having the followership.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to get brand deals, I would tell anybody if you want brand deals, you make it a goal and you seek it out. I'll tell you from the biggest content creator to the smallest. All of us have probably gotten opportunities not that we were looking for, but when you see that the biggest content creators are shooting their shot with brand deals, you're just assuming that the brand came and found them and saw their works and said, "Hey, we want to work with him." Yes, that can be sometimes, but most of the big creators from the middle and the small all have attacked at trying to get that deal from the brand by messaging them,
Mm-hmm.
by creating content of something they've already purchased and then putting it out there and then getting some follow up. So I would tell anybody if they want a brand deal, identify what brands you want to work with. Now, like a Nike, that's a process, right? If you want Nike sponsorship, not saying you can't get it, but it's a longer mountain climb to get up there. But if you want one, I would tell you the simple method that I would tell anybody is make the content of the brand, right? So if you've purchased a Nike shirt, make it, post it, tag them, message them. Do it every time that you make the content.
Yep.
And at some point, they're either going to say, "Hey, we're going to save you," or "Hey, let's work together." I got Nesquik because I was in LA at a sneaker con. A representative from SneakerCon told me that they were looking for people to make content that day. I made content on the spot, went and talked to someone. They ended up following me and then let me get in the process of being an ambassador. By getting that one, set me up for so many. I reached out to somebody I went to high school with that had clothing brands, Steve's Fiends. And one of the first brands I got, and he said, "Yeah, I'll send you a care package." Like, don't think you're that hot of a stuff, no matter how many views or not you're getting. If you want it, you gotta DM them, you gotta message them, you gotta
Yeah.
let them know what you want, and then if it works, then it works. You know, reach out to Mo from Unbox, talking with him. That was the first thing. He was like, "Well, what can I help you out with before I see if you can help me out?" And then believing in that product, sharing that product, and then when you start to get brand deals, they can be overwhelming too because they have deliverables, they have what they need from you to complete. You have to mentally get prepared to make that piece of content. So just have fun with it. But if you want it, make it a goal. And you're going to hear a lot more no's than you are yeses. But every no is going to prepare you for the yes. So if you're
Mm,
willing to take the no, you're going to get to the yes.
absolutely. I love that, man. And you and the Home and Kids Music Art, man.
Yeah.
Y'all have created like a little monopoly on on picking stuff up, man. It's like y'all do a really good job with that for
Hey,
sure. Really good job
hey,
with that.
man, I'm here. I'm the type, and you know, Gay. I feel like what is given to me is what's for me. So I'm here to give everybody the sauce. Like I create groups to let people know that there's opportunities out here and to let people know about them. Because again, sometimes it's just not having the access, right? If you knew where the decision makers were, again, the decision maker is going to make the decision if they want to use you or not. But if I can provide my resources and help someone out to get an opportunity,
Yep.
it's just going to come back tenfold. Now, if I hold the bag and said, nah, you know, Unbox work with me, and that y'all, like, I mean, again, the content I make that is all given not from me, but from someone above. So I
Absolutely.
really believe, like, there's no reason to hold off information. Like, if a brand wants to work with you, they're gonna work with you. So I really
Absolutely.
just want
Yep.
everybody to have the opportunity. I want all the content creators that want can get free shoes or see as a fashion person in the Atlanta space to know, like, hey, go to these boutiques, go to their events. You may vibe with them. They may vibe with you. They may say, hey, we want you to be a part of this, or they may not. But you got to put yourself out there. And at the end of the day, everybody's just trying to work together to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be an ambassador is the brand seeing you as an individual that you can help push the brand to make money, and then you're seeing that as that helps you to make money, or that gives you more awareness out there in the social ecos, by the validation of the brand. So we, you know, if you want it, you can DM me. I'll tell you about opportunities and where you can go. For the events, Gabe knows they come and they go so quick. Most of the boutiques or places, they'll put up a Eventbrite, and that may only have like 30 slots in the Eventbrite. So a lot of times, one of us or someone who's a bigger content creator will be like, hey, here's the Eventbrite, y'all better sign up now or it's gonna be gone. So I've seen several times where hey, 3 weeks in advance, hey, Gabe, you going to this? What you think about that? Or,
Yep.
you know, I may be feeling like, I don't know if I want to go out there by myself. And then, Gabe, you going? Oh, now we getting excited. So,
No doubt.
yeah, man, it's big on community, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want your cup to runneth over, then you need to be really happy and good with what's running over benefiting somebody else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And getting
absolutely.
to know people. I mean, again, if you're in a sneaker community or culture, like, so me working in HR, culture is a big word for me. And what I mean by that is everybody talks about culture negatively or positively, but they don't understand that they dictate culture.
Mm-hmm.
You
Hmm.
as an individual create culture by you putting something out there for that culture. So therefore, no matter how big your voice is or small your voice is, if you want culture to be great, you have to put in it. Otherwise, you're just a spectator giving an
Yep.
opinion. So if I want a certain viewpoint on the Atlanta culture and sneakers, if I'm not going to the event meeting other people who make decisions on that, I can't add to the culture or even experience the culture outside of a lens of just watching from afar.
Yep.
So know that you are the culture curator in your life in all aspects. And if you want that culture to be good, then you gotta pour into it so it can be, as Gabe said, overfloweth.
There it is. There it is. That's a mic drop on that one, brother.
A shoe drop. That's a shoe drop. We
It's a
switching
shoe
that.
drop, no
That's a shoe
doubt.
drop.
So, like as things continue to evolve, because over the last, 3.5, 4 years, like stuff just is constantly different. Like, what role do you see social media having in how creators move, and which platform do you see being that most important one to have a presence on?
Mm. Ooh, that's always evolving, right? Because I don't think anybody saw the curveball of TikTok.
Hmm.
And I know we're on IG right now, but each one of them do a lot of things cool. But TikTok created this own way for like people who didn't already have the following to build something and then have that confidence. Because with creating content, it's the level of following, but it's also feeling like you know what you're doing. So, um, still, IG is kind of, if you want a collaboration or a brand deal, IG and probably Twitter are probably like the two biggest, just because they're still kind of immersed with corporate culture.
Hmm.
Um, the secret sauce for anybody that wants collaborations is doing research on the LinkedIn side. Most big content creators will tell you that, and most big content creators will tell you that people are not going to do it. So, everything is being done because there's a decision maker.
Hmm.
Once you identify decision makers, if you go try to connect with them on LinkedIn, is another avenue, because it's another business form, social media. Um, but Instagram, again, like I got more followings on TikTok, but I've got a lot more, I guess, uh, I've gotten more traction from that aspect, not from TikTok, but from IG. But TikTok gave me the confidence that IG wouldn't give me initially when I was making content. And that's the cool thing that I tell you about putting it everywhere. And some content creators will tell you that is uh, uh, making content in the art side of it, you are putting a piece of yourself out there. So we are right now getting in front of a camera in our flaws, how we may feel physically, how we may look, and our insecurities. We are getting in front of a camera to talk and express sneakers, right?
Hmm.
That comes with a drawback if you get one like or one view, right? You feel that. So when you spread yourself across multiple, you get to see the cool thing of a video pop here, on TikTok, but not pop on IG, or pop on IG and not pop on YouTube, or pop on YouTube and not pop on Facebook. So if you have the bandwidth to put on all, it kind of keeps you moving to make content because you'll see it work somewhere, compared to if you put all your eggs in one, it can be a little overwhelming because you just feel like you're not growing as quick as you want.
Hmm.
But making content as much as I have, man, you should see the waves, man. Like, you just see how the algorithm shifts by update. Where again, you were making similar content, and then this one content just goes a lot more. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, whoa, I ain't doing anything.
Right.
But I think anybody that makes content will realize you have that organic kind of viral where you're like, you see the fruit of it kind of going viral. My viewpoint on viral is anytime you get more views than followers, I tell myself I went viral, right? Because that's the hardest thing, is to get more views than you have followers. That's always the easiest when you have really no followers in comparison. But when you think about when you get 20, 30, 40, and then you see the views, yeah, a person may have 10,000 views, but they have, 30,000 followers. So I always like to tell myself, if I get more views and followers, that was a great video. And that's kind of how I keep myself mentally not drudging the views or the likes or anything like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But to answer your question, it really whichever one you like the most. I mean, the main thing is you gotta enjoy it. So TikTok may go away, Instagram, it's not paying users, but the brand deals are there.
Mhm.
Um, Facebook, I hear, is paying the most. It's still the interface and how it's set up. I need to learn more about it. I don't think it's as friendly for a younger or a new creator that's not really making money in it. YouTube is the long form game. If you get going in YouTube, I think out of all the platforms, they show that you can create a buzz and make some money from it.
Mhm.
It's just, it's more long form based, but they have bursted with shorts. I've heard some stuff about Pinterest is a good avenue, especially for fashion, storyboarding, stuff like that. Um, One cool thing I found out, TikTok has an update where they're going to be working with Amazon. So if I'm thinking big picture in the sky, if they're working with Amazon before they have to sell, who knows if Amazon will be one of the people in the bid for the sale.
Mhm.
And if Amazon gets it, let's say in 2025, what does that look like?
Right.
Um, Instagram, though, is where the brands are. I mean, I see brands have a professional page on Instagram, do business on Instagram, and then just have fun content on TikTok. Everybody's image conscious on Instagram.
Mhm.
So that's where the brands are.
Okay.
And then Twitter, I hear that too, because Twitter has such a literature viewpoint, right? Because it was written content. So for a lot of the sneaker blogs and also brands, that written piece is important. So I heard there's a wave over there to be seen by brands. But I kind of try to throw everything. I don't do it for Twitter, but that's just because I use Twitter for all like sneakers, like getting sneakers. So I
Mhm.
use like Soul Links,
Yep.
outside of like Unbox and other applications, but Twitter's probably like my number one. I have that notifications up, it pings, it vibrates. So like I didn't want to mucky that up with content because I relied on getting shoes through Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and what was your first brand dealer collaboration, and how did you end up getting it?
Okay. So still say my first one is Steve's Fiends. Um Again, I reached out to somebody I went to high school with that I knew made amazing clothing, Ray. And I set a goal at the beginning of the year, 2 years ago. I was like, I'm gonna get a brand deal. I kind of feel like I know what I'm gonna do. I wrote it down, put it on the board, and then I started DMing. At first, I thought somebody would come reach out to me, and that's not the case. So I started DMing.
Yeah.
I was speaking to one person. Why not use the resources of people that you know than going to people you don't know, right? So I was like, well, what are people I knew? And I knew Ray. I knew his clothing brand, so I reached out to him, and he was like, "Yeah, we do care packages from time to time. Yeah, I'll bless you." And he gave me probably 100 and I think $200 worth of product of clothing, from hoodies to crew necks to t-shirts. Let me do an unboxing. It was my first like video where I created the video, had to send it to him. I said the name wrong. Corrected me. I had to reshoot it. It was that first experience, and since then, he has a loyal fan that loves his merchandise. He also has another Reap the Harvest, another clothing brand, Ray.
Mhm.
Um, and just that was the first, and that came from me knowing someone personally and asking. The big one that got everything where I felt like everything rolled off it was Nesquik. Nesquik again, they provide Nesquik milk once a month for me to post a video, and I met them at a convention which was SneakerCon. From that, I felt like other ones rolled in. But during that time, I messaged Mo at Unbox, was able to get on a call, um, understood what the product was, told him what I was looking for, and probably was able to build a relation with him over 6 months and get that opportunity. So play, sat down with Liv a year in advance, went to events, talked with her, and was able, when it felt like there was an opportunity for me, was able to get an opportunity. Um, Buy better every day, a brand that I love. I love what they stood for. I love what AC message he was putting out there. I love their boxes. And someone who had so many boxes from the Container Store, I was always like, but to start over on boxes? But something told me to reach out to him. Dwayne helped me with that connection. I got to meet him personally.
Mhm.
He let me have a box to test out, and then I made content. He liked the content, and he's provided me more boxes. Um, I guess some other ones. I had other people reach out to me. I've tried to share and show love in any way possible. Um, but all of them mean the world to me just because it's someone who saw me as something that could represent them. Like when you have your own brand that you're trying to sell, it's important who you want on your team. So anyone that has selected me to share in their space to help provide a story or insight on the brand is nothing but a blessing. So, but I continue to get more. I have a list of ones I want to work with, and it's going to continue to grow. And hopefully, other people can get those too, because it's not
Yeah.
just one bag. The brand's going to give it to everybody to
Right.
make sure the brand is
Right.
known. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? If that was the case, we would just have one Jordan. There would have been no other Nike athlete. Now, how many Nike athletes? How many Nike shoes we
Yeah.
have? We
Right.
got Puma athletes. We got Sketcher athletes. We got New Balance athletes. The key is to sell the product. So if you're willing to show love for the product, express the product in a innovative way, and have a following that can help buy the product, and the opportunity is there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We got AE too, man. Like
Oh yeah, yes sir,
ATL's finest, right?
yes sir. A-Town representative. Now, hey, I'll be transparent on this. I think it's funny. So, I love the AEs, and to be transparent, I love the AEs not only because of Anthony Edwards, because it reminds me of a Yeezy.
Yeah.
One of my favorite models is a Yeezy 700 V3. I love it. I love when people see it. They're like, those are different. I love how it feels. But I don't think, because of how many Yeezys I have, I'm not gonna say it, but I don't know how I would get Adidas deal because I have so many Yeezys.
Right. Right. Right.
But yeah, the AEs I got all but one, and I should have had those, but yeah, I didn't know how limited they were, and I missed. I could got a size, not my size, but then took the insole out. But I was like, I didn't want to do that, but I didn't know the McDonald's are going for like $500. So yeah, I'm
Oh
not adding
wow.
those. I'm not adding those.
Yeah, yeah. He his personality and like how authentically Atlanta he is and everything he does in his
Yeah,
marketing, man. Like as long as his game continues to grow, like that shoe it's gonna be game busters. Like
Yep.
until he just decides to not do it anymore.
yeah. I know you excited for them UGAs are supposed to be coming out next month.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're gonna try to get those. We're gonna try to get those, man. And it's funny because a lot of people don't. I mean, UGA isn't seen as a basketball school, but
Mm-mm.
when you go back and watch his highlights, he was doing some of the same
Same
stuff when he was on yard,
stuff.
man. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and get this thing wrapped up, man, so we can get you back to. You probably got to recover from this birthday celebration you've been doing. So,
Yeah, man. I need to get back. I've been try to be immersed with the family, so it's surprising. I literally have not posted anything in 72 hours. I have not done that probably like 2 years, but I just wanted to give him some time, and I also needed just to have a break so I can just go even more, just kind of really love it even more
Yep.
by taking a break from it. So I would tell anybody, it's okay, take some time. You may feel like you go back a little bit in the algorithm, but it just builds character. So rest out, restore, reattack it, find your niche, find your wave. And remember, a setback's a setup for a comeback. So it's all part of your big story. And again, people ain't gonna believe at first, but when it happens, people gonna be like, "Yeah, I knew it." But yeah,
Yeah.
I know when y'all first started this, you're like, "Y'all want to do a podcast on Instagram?" Yeah,
Right.
y'all gonna have guests, and then now when y'all look back, man, I've gotten to talking to this person, that person. We've done this 5 seasons.
Yep.
I mean, I talked to Gay. I mean, it's been 2 years. I was like, dang, Gay, like that. I mean, dang, man, dang. But that just shows what y'all have created. Just to say that you have a waiting list of people who know y'all or who have seen it and want to be on this platform. Man, it's amazing. It resonates. So keep doing what y'all doing, telling the stories.
Yep.
And like I told Gay, hey, pull them off this, pull them on YouTube, put them on TikTok.
Yeah.
Let this content, both of y'all, let this content live everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Totally appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you.
So,
Anytime.
for sure, man. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for joining us and yeah, giving us some time
Oh,
this weekend.
anytime, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all having
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was actually the next to the last episode for season 5. We're gonna
Ooh,
have our last guest for season 5 is gonna be announced on Thursday.
okay.
And so like you said, it's kind of it's unreal a little bit just thinking back and saying, okay, we about to complete 5 seasons on this thing, man, and we stumbled out of the block, and next thing you know, 5 seasons are gone. So we're very um, happy, but we're also very humbled and thankful for all the support,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Man, y'all need to get a schedule for season 6, like a season 6 party, man. We gotta do that soul play,
Yeah,
rent it out, do it big, everybody come in. You get interview people there on the spot. Yeah, man, let's do it,
let,
Gabe.
let's make it happen,
Let's get
man.
that set
Because
up.
because season 6, we've been talking about it for like a year and a half and just never really pushed it out yet. But the way that we present this information is going to change for season 6. So yeah, that'll be a perfect way to introduce what we're thinking. So that yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, let me know. I mean, I'm here to support any way. So please has an amazing venue that you definitely can look or possibly rent out. So
Mhm.
I tell you, come to Soul Play first.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's my first destination, man. Like that's if I had a choice between all of them, I know I'm gonna be at Soul Play
you,
first.
you better say it. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
listen, man. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir. Hey,
yeah.
Lawrenceville, hold it
Holding
down. We be at this
it
all
down.
the time.
Absolutely, man. North side, like we ain't got to go inside the perimeter. We straight up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Good deal, man. Well, hey, hopefully everybody has a great week, and we'll make our announcement for next Sunday on Thursday, and we'll see you guys later.